Hey, welcome back to my channel. Since the early days of drones, I've been fascinated by the technology that powers these epic, scenic videography machines from up above. Now, I've had a few in my time and lost one in the sea as well. More on that linked up here and in the description down below. But I've always felt like I've been longing for a little bit more. Whether that is image resolution, image quality, range, stability, or even just better handling. I then came across the Air 2S, and I'm wondering, is this DJI offering going to be the one that answers all of that longing? Let's find out. Let's get right into it. What do you get with this latest model? You get 5.4K in frame rates of 24, 25, or 30 frames per second. Obviously, you also have the ability to go into 4K up to a frame rate of 60 frames per second, but you must be aware that there is a crop that is applied in this resolution. Of course, all of this extra resolution that you get with the 5.4K just gives you a whole lot more options in post if ever you do want to zoom in. And of course, there's nothing wrong with downsampling that footage to 4K. You get a 1-inch sensor on the Air 2S. That sensor size is comparable to the point-and-shoot cameras like the Sony RX100 or even the Canon G7X. So to think of this camera as having one of those sensors on it right up in the sky, that just gives you a good idea of the kind of image quality you can expect from this drone. Now, of course, the bigger the sensor, the better. The more light you get, the more detail you're able to capture. So this is only a good thing, and is the same sensor size actually as the Mavic 2 Pro. You get obstacle avoidance sensors on everywhere but the sides. So you'll see them scattered throughout the drone. There's some on the back. Here you got on the front facing up. You've also got the front facing forward, and of course on the bottom as well. The Air 2S also comes with a set of its own ND filters. Now, because this drone has a fixed aperture of f2.8, you don't have the option of using your aperture to control your exposure of your image. So what you do have is your shutter speed and of course your ISO. But if you're trying to follow the 180-degree rule where your shutter speed exactly doubles your frame rate, you're not going to have the option of darkening your image using the tools that you have at your disposal. So what you're gonna need is a piece of glass that is tinted, which you can insert in front of the camera and darken that exposure down and get it under control. And that's what DJI are giving you with these ND filters. You get OcuSync 3.0, which is DJI's latest image transmission protocol. Now, that's the same one that you get with the DJI FPV drone. And if you think about the Mini 2, you get OcuSync 2.0. Every iteration of this gives you better reliability, better transmission, and this one particularly on the Air 2S gives you 12 kilometers of range. 12 kilometers? What? You get the ability to shoot in D-Log and HLG, which are 10-bit color profiles that record internally on this drone in bit rates of up to 150 megabits per second. So with all of that extra data and all of that extra color, you get a lot more flexibility to grade your footage and edit it in post-processing. The camera resolution for stills is 20 megapixels and also lets you save down your images as RAW files. And of course, you get DJI's Master Shots, which as they say is an advanced intelligent feature that gives users the best shots in any location with just a tap. Simply select your subject and the drone will film while executing 10 different maneuvers in sequence, keeping your subject center frame and generating a short cinematic video afterwards. Now, when browsing on their website, you will see the Mini 2 and the Air 2S. So which one is for you? There's no doubt that the small profile and regulation dodging weight that you get with the Mini 2 are both very appealing, along with the increased image transmission and quality over the previous Mini, which is the one that I had before. The thing is, if you're really into this as a hobby and you want to get the best quality and reliability from a drone, I honestly think those extra hoops are well worth jumping through, and the extra money is well spent on the Air 2S. And on those hoops that you'll need to jump through for regulation, compared to what I thought they would be, an absolute breeze. I've been able to quickly and easily register as a drone operator for personal use in both the UK and the EU. Look into the regulation where you live. It might not be as onerous as you think. As far as size and weight goes, you'll definitely notice the extra weight of the Air 2S when you have to carry it around. But depending on which case you use, you might not actually notice such an increase in the overall size profile when everything is folded up. In my experience, I've always used the default DJI case. So when comparing the case sizes that you get in the Fly More combos from the Mini to the Air 2S, I didn't actually notice such a big increase in size. Let's go through some of the footage. I was on holiday in Croatia and took the Air 2S along. I shot almost all of this footage using D-Log and will of course show you the result of my color grades. I may also throw in some footage I took when I was on a road trip in Wales a few weeks back. Enjoy. Okay, I'm going to interrupt this epic drone montage to show you some examples of DJI's intelligent flight modes. We'll be taking a look at a few examples of QuickShots as well as FocusTrack on the Air 2S. Let's start off with one of the most commonly used QuickShots, the Droney, which I've added a speed ramp to. You'll notice the colors are different to my previous graded clips because this is straight out of the camera. You can't shoot in D-Log whilst capturing a QuickShot. Moving on to the FocusTrack modes. Here you can see Active Track 4.0 in the trace mode. In this one, you'll see the Air 2S does a great job of tracking the scooter whilst dodging the trees. Now, the tracking modes are an exception in terms of color, so I did shoot this in D-Log. And here you can see my color grade. It locked focus for a long period of time and lost the subject only when I picked up speed past a certain point. So just make sure you keep within a reasonable speed and you should have no issues. Next up is the circle QuickShot, which I will speed up for the purposes of this video. This again is a QuickShot where you cannot shoot in log, and thus the colors in this clip are straight from the drone, though I think they look pretty good here. This is a super handy shot, and I'm sure you'll agree the results are pretty great. And lastly, let's look at another FocusTrack mode called Spotlight 2.0, where you select the subject and fly as you please. The drone will make sure the subject fits pleasingly in the frame. And yes, that is my car, but more on that in another video. Also, it is worth mentioning that my friend captured this in the fog, and the Air 2S handled perfectly and didn't get damaged in any way. The result is just epic. All in all, there's a lot to like about the Air 2S. These are the things that I like the most. The controller's design and ergonomics. I much prefer this controller that I have with me on this side that comes with the Air 2S because you can put your phone at the top instead of at the bottom. Also, there's no antenna, it's built in to the clamp that holds your phone. It feels great in the hands and it's just a treat to use. The transmission reliability. OcuSync 3 is fantastic. The transmission resolution. Now you're not looking at a picture on your phone in 720p, instead you're getting full HD right in real time as that drone is up in the sky. That's obviously great to have that crisp, clear image and make sure that you've got your framing all well set out, and also of course to look out for obstacles. Even though there are sensors, it's just great being able to look in real time in full HD. That's fantastic. The sensor size and quality. This 1-inch sensor brings a dramatic improvement to the quality of your image, and I love it. The sound, the actual sound the drone makes when you take off into the sky. It's not that annoying, overpowering, super intimidating buzz that you get that sounds like a fly, where everyone looks at you and they're like, what is that guy doing with his drone? It's a really pleasing, barely noticeable hum that once you get up 50 meters, you can hardly even hear. The handling in wind. Now obviously with that extra wingspan compared to the Mini, it commands its way through the sky. I've not had any issues with wind, and even when it feels a little bit windy, I felt confident enough to take off. Now of course, these things have limitations, so don't do anything stupid, but this thing can handle wind really well. The tracking modes. All of the tracking modes that you get with this drone, including those master shots, just gives you a whole lot more flexibility and the ability to, I guess, be in your videos rather than always having to film someone else. Now, whether that's just simple tracking or all of these fancy master shots, you really do get a ton of options here, including even a point of interest tracking feature. It's really impressive. This one's gonna sound really silly, but I love the fact that you can turn the intelligent flight batteries into power banks. It's so good for traveling, knowing you don't have to carry around an extra power bank, and as long as you don't use up all your batteries, you'll always have some juice left to charge your phone in case you need it. So all you need to do is clip on this extra little accessory that you get with the Fly More combo, and all of a sudden you have a power bank. I think it's fantastic. And lastly, the app interface. DJI's apps are always so intuitive and easy to understand, reliable, everything you need them to be. But at the same time, it isn't exactly the perfect drone. So here are some of the things that I didn't like. The ND filters don't stop dark enough. They only go up to 32. So if you are in Croatia or in Greece on a beach, you need a whole lot more stopping down power. I think they should have at least gone up to 64, but that's maybe just me. The bag that you get in the Fly More combo have these side straps that are stitched in and cannot be removed. You also get this wonderful side handle, which I love, but I want to be able to remove these because I just throw this bag into my backpack all of the time in any case. And of course the fact that it doesn't have any side obstacle avoidance sensors. This is not a deal breaker for me, but it just would have been so great if they did include it. Time to wrap up my final thoughts of this drone. In a few words, I'm in love. There's something incredibly freeing about having the solid level of transmission stability that you get with the Air 2S. I've been able to fly with a lot less stress knowing that it won't cut out over short distances. Also, the fact that you get to monitor your image in real time in full HD is a game changer. You're able to pay a whole lot more attention to the subject, your surroundings, and of course, the focus. The focus is important because in this camera, you do need to focus it. Now, of course, there is autofocus, but just make sure you are not stuck by mistake in manual focus and select the wrong subject. This is gonna, of course, make a massive difference to your image. Also, the obstacle avoidance sensors give you great peace of mind. The controller is a whole lot more logical in terms of its design, with the phone going on the top instead of the bottom, and is a lot more comfortable in the hand. In terms of the footage, I was blown away when I saw the image in its full resolution and graded. It's worlds apart from the image quality on my Mini 1, and I honestly have no complaints. So if you've been on the fence about upgrading or even jumping into the drone game for the first time, I can't recommend the Air 2S enough. The amount of tech you get here for the price tag is just staggering. Thanks so much for sticking it through right to the very end. If you're still here, why don't you do something really random for me and leave down a comment of a fly emoji down below. That's really random, I know, but the drone flies in the sky and it makes the sound of a fly with its buzz. Let's chat down in the comments below too. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video at all, please hit that like button down below. And of course, if you'd like to see more from me and my channel in the future, hit that subscribe button too, as well as the notification bell if you'd like to get notified when I post a new video. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.